Today we're gonna learn how to wield two 3-section staffs at the same time. Fuck out of here. One will do. Let's have some fun. Today we're gonna be working with 3-section staffs against the butterfly swords. So last week, if you were here watching, which y'all better been, we were going over 3-section staff with the spear. So spear is a long-range weapon. This is a short-range weapon. And in being a short-range weapon, it's also a bladed weapon. And this is just sticks. So yeah, they can hurt, but blades can kill. So we want to make sure that we keep our opponent at bay. And my training brother over here is going to make sure that he doesn't fuck up my 3-section staff, because I've had this for over 30 years now. So he's going to be gentle with my weapon, and we're going to be working with just, again, basic drills and some basic footwork that you guys can utilize and just see how the weapon translates into fighting. Anytime that you see people doing spinning the weapon and doing fancy, flashy movements and doing blossoms and everything else, just remember, when a weapon or a flexible weapon like this hits something, it doesn't continue to move. So if I'm doing blossoms here, that's to keep my opponent at bay. That's to push my opponent away. The minute my opponent gets in the way of this weapon, he gets hit with the weapon, but the weapon stops. So I can't do any of the fancy stuff where you see people doing the blossoms and, you know, we do them over our heads. This blossom here, it's a low-high blossom. This is to keep my opponent out of the way, to keep him back. Doesn't want to get hit with either one of them. So that's what that's for. When we are working with, and again, once it hits my opponent, the staff is going to hit my opponent, and it's either going to ricochet back, or it's going to hit my opponent, and it's going to stop. So the motion of what I'm doing stops. So a lot of the stuff that we do as far as spins and blossoms and everything else is to keep our opponent away. That's number one. And number two, it's dexterity drills to strengthen our ability and our connection with the weapon. That's it. That's the reality of that. Other than that, this weapon works very much like short sticks. It has the same characteristics, except that the middle staff actually protects the body. All right? So if I'm in guard stance position, I'm here. If my opponent comes in, I want to work on the opposite side of my opponent's body. I want to be able to get into and check. So I'm blocking, checking, and coming over the top. Now the beautiful thing about this weapon is it's a long-range weapon. So if I go here, 1, 2, and come over the top, and I swing this way, he's going to get out of the way. That is going to be going over to hit my opponent. So I have long range. And the best thing about it is that the weapon always comes back. It's connected. I don't lose them, right? It's like having chopsticks that aren't connected. You always lose them in the drawer. So these are like big chopsticks that are connected. So again, from here, it's over the top, and then from here, I can just launch the weapon right at my opponent. All right? So, block, over the top. From here, I can come in this way. So we're gonna go from here. He's blocking. I'm gonna launch the weapon out this way, so he has to block, and I wanna be able to come in. All right, so a lot of the times when we're working with this and my opponent comes in, we'll just utilize practicing on how we can move and we can maneuver out of the way. So a quick drill is that 1, 2 here, and he blocks. From here, we just come right back. My original weapon will be played by its stunt double. He's destroying it. So, my opponent comes in, I block, I come over the top, and I come right in. So the drill is block, check, over the top. From here, I want to force him to block the weapon. So I'm going to force him to block the weapon, and hopefully I'll be able to get that staff in. All right? So one more time, comes over the top here, and he blocks. And one more time over the top, and he blocks. So quick, and we'll do it on the other side. And the beautiful thing about this is that I can keep my distance because I have a full-length staff. So that's the beautiful thing about this. So again, from here, it's gonna be the same thing. Whoa! Back to guard. One more time. And one last time. And check here, and come in. So if you notice, last week, I was trying to bridge or trying to breach the long range. Here, there is no bridging, there's no breaching long range. I'm becoming equal range with my opponent because the weapons side by side are pretty close. So the only thing I can use now is getting in, manipulating the weapon, and then using a large swing to hit my opponent. Okay? The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna utilize this center section of the weapon. So obviously he's got two weapons, and right now he was only been utilizing one of those weapons. So if he comes in with the first weapon and I block it out of the way, and he comes in, now I have to be able to use the other part of the weapon, check, and then come across, right? So I'm gonna use the center section, and that's already coming in. If you notice, he's striking correctly because the blade is coming straight. It's not coming down flat on me. So as he comes in here, I wanna be able to move my body away from the sharp end of the weapon. So one here, two, and then I'm gonna come across. He's gonna duck because he doesn't wanna get hit by the weapon, and I don't wanna hurt my, my partner here. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3. Now if you notice, a lot of the times you'll see these double strikes. So the double strikes are because you're twisting the hips and you're setting up for either a low block or a high block with the strike, depending on where he is. So we don't wanna whip the weapon this way, because if I'm blocking, let's go back to the section. If we go here and I leave this back here and swing, I'm stopping myself from moving the weapon past my hips. I have to let the other side go in order to get that full range of swing. Okay? So if there's questions about why we're bringing the double end weapon with us, this is what we're doing. So one more time, it's gonna be straight in, it's off to the side, over, and then I can set up. Okay? Again, as I twist, I'm either blocking low or I'm blocking high. So one more time, center section, over, down. Okay? One last time, and center section, over, down. And we'll switch to the other side. Just for those who think that these aren't like semi-live blades, I mean, that's what we're dealing with. And if you look all over this weapon, if you look closely, you'll see bite marks everywhere. So we do hit each other. It does hurt. They're not they're not sharp, but they will definitely fuck you up. So gotta be careful. So from this side, we're gonna work the same drill. So nice and slow, middle. We're gonna slide off center and come this way and be able to block low. Because I'm forcing my opponent to duck, which means most of the techniques or the strikes are gonna come low, and I have this to block and I have this to strike. All right, so we're gonna do this really quick. Really like Superman quick. Here we go. One more time. And center, over, down. Cool. I think that works. Yeah, I think it works. I think it's okay. So if you notice, a lot of the blocks and a lot of the strikes that we're doing is from the first video of basic technique. So rising, scraping. This one that we did here is almost like a blossom, right? So if we had double broadswords or even butterflies. So Shifu Gregg will demonstrate the butterfly up top, right? So that's a top blossom. And the same thing with the three section is I can do the same movement. It's the same thing. So now we take the strike and we block, and we come over the top, and we still have defense behind us. So guys, that's that will sum up the 3-section staff against butterflies. But again, guys, so it's not which weapon is better. It's not the weapon. It's the student wielding the weapon. It's the practitioner working the drills. Same thing with any martial art that's out there. They all work. It's all a matter of the student putting forth the effort to make their system work. System doesn't make somebody great. A great person makes their system great. Just always remember that. Guys, remember, train, don't complain. We gotta build each other up. We gotta help each other up. We gotta help each other become better martial artists, right? We wanna make sure that we're gonna be better than we were yesterday, right? Better yourself every day. Be a better version of yourself every day. So train, don't complain, and remember, guys, look for the good martial arts out there. You'll know it when you see it. And we'll see you next week.